All right, let's talk about something we've all wondered about. When you start a project, maybe a small business or even just a fundraiser, what's that magic number? The exact point where you stop losing money and finally start making it. Well, today, we're going to find that magic number. It's the big question, right? For any venture, big or small. At what point do you cross that invisible line from spending money to actually earning it? Let's dive in and figure that out. To really get a handle on this, we're going to follow a parent-teacher organization. They've got a great idea: raise some money by selling long-sleeve t-shirts. They have a goal, sure, but they've also got costs. They need to know when all their hard work is actually going to start paying off. And this gets us right to the heart of their problem, which is a classic fundamental question of money out versus money in. Think of it this way. Every project has two sides of a coin. You've got your costs, all the money you have to spend to get things going, and then you've got your income, all the money you bring in. The whole game really is making sure that income line eventually climbs higher than the cost line. So first, let's look at the money going out the door. The t-shirt company they're using, well, they charge a one-time setup fee of $160. That's just to create the design. On top of that, each individual shirt is going to cost the organization $4 to make. We can actually model this with a pretty simple equation. Here, Y is going to be our total cost. Now that $160, that's what we call a fixed cost. You pay it once, no matter what. The 4X part is the variable cost because, it changes depending on X, the number of shirts you actually order. Okay, now for the fun part, the money coming in. The plan is simple. Sell each shirt for $8. This side of the story, thankfully, is a lot more straightforward. So the income equation is just Y equals 8X. The total income, Y, is simply $8 multiplied by X, the number of shirts they sell. No setup fee, no funny business, just pure revenue for every single shirt. So now we've got our two competing forces, right? We have the steady upward climb of our income, and then we have the costs, which started out higher. It is time for a showdown, where we find the exact point that these two lines cross. Just look at what happens as they sell more and more shirts. If they only sell 10, ouch, they're losing $120. At 20 shirts, they're still in the hole by $80. But watch as the numbers get closer. At 35 shirts, they're only down $20. And then, at 40 shirts, boom, the cost and the income are exactly the same. The profit is zero. 40. 40 shirts. That's it. That is the magic number. It's the moment when this fundraiser has earned back every single dollar it's spent. There's not a penny of profit yet, but hey, there's not a penny of loss either. And this crucial moment, this tipping point, has a name. It's the break-even point. Every single shirt sold before this point is really just helping to pay off those initial costs. But every shirt sold after this point, that's pure profit. So what happens before and after we hit that break-even point? Well, that's just as important. And finance has some pretty cool historical language to describe it. And this is a really interesting little tidbit. Where do these terms come from? Well, way before computers, bookkeepers literally used red ink to write down losses and black ink for profits. This is why we say a company is in the red or in the black. And get this, it's even why we call that massive shopping day after Thanksgiving Black Friday. For many stores, that's the day they finally move into the profitable black ink for the year. So for our fundraiser, selling anything less than 40 shirts puts them smack in the middle of the loss zone. They are, quite literally, in the red. Every sale they make is just chipping away at that initial $160 setup fee. But the moment they sell shirt number 41, they've officially crossed over. They are in the black. And from this point on, every $8 shirt they sell generates $4 of pure profit. This is where the real fundraising finally begins. So here's the crucial point. This isn't just about t-shirts. This way of thinking, modeling costs and income to find out where they meet, is an incredibly powerful tool you can use in all sorts of situations. I mean, take this bakery, for example. You can see they've got a $5 delivery fee. That's the fixed cost, just like our t-shirt setup fee. And then they charge per cookie. That's the variable cost. You could build the exact same kind of equation we just did to figure out your total cost. It's the same deal with renting a car. There's a fixed daily rate, that's your starting point, and then a variable cost for every single mile you drive. It's another perfect example of a real-world linear relationship. And you know what? It's not even always about money. Look at this graph of a well being drilled. The depth just increases at this steady, predictable rate over time. It's a linear relationship between two different variables, in this case, hours and feet.
So what we've been doing this entire time, finding that one single point where our cost and income lines intersect, it actually has an official name in mathematics. You've been finding the solution to a system of linear equations. And that is a foundational tool for solving problems not just in algebra, but in economics, engineering, you name it.
So that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Whether it's saving up for a big goal, learning a new skill, or even starting a new habit, you have costs, maybe in time or effort, and you're looking for that payoff. So what's the next break-even point you need to find?